Inspired by common hospital folklore, this story is entirely fictional. Any resemblance to actual events or persons is coincidental.
The Night Shift. Location: Riverside General Hospital, Connecticut, October 2019.
Sarah had worked the overnight shift in the cardiac wing for 3 years, but she'd never experienced anything like what happened that autumn. The hospital, built in 1952, had its share of stories. Every old medical facility does. But Sarah was practical-minded and focused on her patients.
It started with the elevator. Every night around 2:30 a.m., the elevator at the end of the hall would ding softly, and the doors would open to an empty car.
The first few times, Sarah assumed it was a mechanical glitch. She'd call maintenance, but they never found anything wrong.
"These old buildings have their quirks," they'd say. But then Mrs. Chen in room 314 started asking about the sad lady who visited her at night.
"She just stands by the window," Mrs. Chen explained. "She looks out at the parking lot like she's waiting for someone. I tried talking to her, but she doesn't seem to hear me."
Sarah checked the visitor logs. No one had signed in for Mrs. Chen after 8 p.m. The next week, Mr. Rodriguez in 318 mentioned the same woman. "She wore a blue dress," he said, "old-fashioned looking. She seemed lost."
Sarah began paying closer attention during her rounds. The hospital was quiet at night, just the steady beeping of monitors and the occasional shuffle of her soft-soled shoes on linoleum. But now she noticed things. A faint scent of lavender soap in empty hallways. The sensation of being watched from empty doorways. One night in late October, Sarah was updating charts at the nurses' station when she heard piano music. Just a few soft notes, like someone testing keys.
The sound seemed to come from the old consultation room that had been locked since renovations began.
She found the head of maintenance the next morning. "Jim, is there a piano in the old consultation room?" He scratched his head. "There was, years ago. Donated by some family after their daughter passed. We moved it to storage when we started the renovations." "Why?" That evening, Sarah decided to investigate. Using her master key, she opened the consultation room. It was empty, except for dust covers and construction materials. No piano. But on the dusty floor, she found fresh sheet music, a simple melody titled "Waiting." Sarah researched the hospital's history. In 1967, a young nurse named Margaret Williams had worked the night shift in this same wing. She was engaged to a soldier serving overseas. The week before her wedding, she received word that he'd been killed in Vietnam. Margaret continued working, but colleagues noticed changes. She'd been seen talking to empty rooms, setting out 2 cups of coffee instead of 1. One morning, they found her in the consultation room, slumped over the piano keys she'd been playing. The official cause was a heart attack, but those who knew her said she died of a broken heart. Sarah learned that Margaret had worn blue dresses to work and used lavender soap,
a gift from her fiancé's last care package.
The next night Sarah saw her. She was standing by the window in room 314, just as Mrs. Chen had described. Not frightening, just infinitely sad.
Margaret turned when she sensed Sarah watching, and for a moment their eyes met. Sarah felt overwhelming sorrow, not her own, but someone else's grief washing over her like a tide.
"He's not coming back," Sarah said quietly. "You know that, don't you?" Margaret's form wavered like heat shimmer, then slowly faded.
The elevator stopped opening on its own after that. The patients stopped mentioning the sad lady. But sometimes, during the quietest hours before dawn,
Sarah still catches the faint scent of lavender soap and knows she's not entirely alone in her vigil over the sleeping and the sick.